So I'm showing here how State Deputy Prosecutor Vesna Mladenović from Higher Instance Prosecution of Smederevo this is their web page, and another web page is the same instance of prosecution but in Belgrade, because they forwarded my crime report. Although all of them have both of the state prosecution offices have that. So there is another video on the same, basically same acting as this deputy prosecutor, but in that case acted and it was about a crime report about president of High Instance Court. In that case acted Deputy Prosecutor Sasha Mrkić from the same prosecution office in Smederevo. So she sent me a request for additional data, although this is her job to do it. I showed that in that other video, so I won't go into details about that here. I will just link the video. So what I'm looking here is this folder. So this folder has the request that Deputy Prosecutor sent. I'm showing it right now. So this is the request, and this is the envelope. It was sent so this is the number of the case. Actually, I cannot see the date when it was sent, but I can see the date of her request. So the date is 8th of January 2021. So again, the same case with the previous, with other state deputy state prosecutor. So the state higher instance prosecution of Belgrade sent they call it here DA submission, but it's a crime report that I sent using email on 13th of October 2020, where I reported frauds. They said irregularities of DEJAN ADAMOVIĆ judge in the case of this is the case of inheritance proceedings of my father. So so she claims here that when she saw that submission, which is a crime report, again this is a crime report, she said it is she cannot understand it and it doesn't contain everything that is needed in order to act, in order for her to act. So I have 8 days after I received this notification, and according to the article 229 law of criminal proceedings, to be more precise, if I filed a complaint. So this is not, neither it's a complaint or neither it's a submission. It's a crime report. So this is a special type of submission when state prosecutor or deputy prosecutor or counselor acts ex officio. So by the definition of their job independently. But again, I won't go into details because I already explained that in another video. So in order to make this short, I will just show that article. So 229. This is that. What? So she said, it says here so this is long criminal proceedings. So submissions and minutes. Submissions and minutes. So main rules on filing them. And just a second, she didn't give the paragraph and the point, so I assume the whole thing is what applies. So it says this is basically lawsuit. Oops. Accusation, okay. Accusation, so it says accusation suggestion, I don't know how to translate this. Legal, well, this is not correct, but legal advice, it would be right term. So again, accusation, suggestion, legal advice, or other statement. Can be filed written or verbal. It must be easy to understand and contain everything that's needed. And that someone who acts, it doesn't say state prosecutor, but someone who acts, probably it means police as well, will ask for can ask for additional information, and so on and so on. What are consequences? And so on and so on, and some minor details. So she's she's avoiding the fact that this is a crime report in order to avoid acting ex officio. And again, I explained what that means in another video with basically the same content, only the actors are different. I will add it in the description of this video. Yeah, and she said here, whether I'm filing a complaint or crime report. And to be more specific what he did, I already explained that in a lot of ways, but they're pretending they don't know how to use G Drive and YouTube. So how he broke the law, I mean, come on. So she asked for other details, whether I suffered some, whether I had some material damage with his action and so on and so on. I already explained that. And if I don't do that, my submission, according to her, it's a crime report, will be dismissed according to 229 article paragraph 3, which is this one. This is exactly what this she basically just cited what this part of the law stated. She basically just write the same thing here. So again, she sent this on 8th of January 2021 by regular mail, not email. And then I wrote on January 26th, because I don't know, I probably received it 14 days after she sent me, which is around 22nd of January. So yeah, I received it on 19th of this month. And I explained why I received it. And I had a problem with the mailman. Is this the postman? Okay, I was close. So I explained when I received it. And I gave an example. So it took 15 days to receive this her request, and I gave example on COURT of Smederevo where I received it within 2 days, but I received it within 2 days because they committed a fraud, and this is why they wanted to send it as soon as possible. And this means that she thinks the multiple crimes committed by the judge and everything with the blessing of president of that court. So according to her, this is not a priority, and they knew everything since the beginning of 2019. And I did the same thing which I did for other deputy prosecutor. I asked her to send me a crime report so that I can figure out what is missing here. Maybe the other prosecution office didn't send the whole thing. So I also mentioned here that date she stated 13th of October is incorrect, because I sent those emails on 13th of September 30th of September 2020 and 12th of October 2020, which is something she must have mentioned, because it was an email which was verified in Unit for High-Tech Crime of Belgrade. And I also gave her example, and I also reminded her that in that email she mentioned there is a address of directory and G drive containing all the information, like 600 documents, and she stated this she cannot cannot be easily understood. And I also invoked long criminal proceedings that I'm not in charge of qualifying crimes. And I asked her this is not her she's not in charge of this case because her colleague Alexander Kuzmanovic investigating monstrous murder of my grandfather is involved. So this is something that should be that the prosecutor, so who is in charge in prosecution office, should act. So prosecutor Lopušina, he actually acted. I will show that right away. And I also mentioned some other lawsuits to high instance court, to Supreme Court, and so on and so on. So, and she cannot act until the Supreme Court makes the decision. So I also mentioned something that I mentioned for other prosecutor. She also has the same emails that prosecution office in Belgrade has, because they sent all of them together. And this is another email on 14th of February 2021. After she made a decision, which I'm going to show right away, that my so-called submission is dismissed. And I ask, how can I add additional information if I don't have original document? So I ask her again to send me this so-called submission. I have, according to the law, right to do that. Otherwise, she needs to invoke the law which prevents her to do that. And I also ask her again to send the case to the prosecutor. And I explained that all other crimes committed by other state institutions, courts, and so on, police, and so on, must be one case. And I mentioned conspiracy as a major crime here. And I mentioned also that Ghislaine Maxwell, within Epstein case, her first charge was conspiracy, and that this is the worst case to hit the humankind, which it is. And I also mentioned I'm writing the crime report on international organized crime. And at that time there was 25 cases, so international organized crime related to Serbia. Now there are more than 40, like 43. And if she doesn't send what I asked, that will be considered international crime. And I also mentioned what other crimes she will commit if she doesn't do what I asked, and that she needed to read all the documents, or state why they're irrelevant, and to confirm this email, receiving this email, and not to send me anything with regular mail, because this is paid by state taxpayers. Reminded her again that my email is verified by unit mentioned for high-tech crime, and so on. Okay, so that was the first email. The second email I sent her again. I asked her if she asked the case of inheritance proceedings of my father. So I asked this, and I gave some other information about this case, which I already explained before. So this case contains audio, actually video with audio record of, because this was the only way to prove what judge did. So he committed a major crime. And I asked her if he had that. If he had that video. Of course, I asked her which part was not clear to her in my so-called submission. And she needs to acts ex officio by the definition of her duty. There is also Interpol involved. And they also need to send her not just video records, but also transcript of them. This is very important. And I also asked her how she didn't figure out it's not crime report, but when I stated that there are multiple crimes of fraud crimes committed by the judge. So it is a crime report. I already stated that, but she said in her decision 705/20 that I haven't mentioned that. and which law allows her to answer only for a piece of information that suits her. And I warn her I will report her to international institutions, which I'm going to do with all the other involved, so the highest instance prosecution courts and so on. So they did it intentionally, committed a fraud, and so I mentioned some other crimes, so conspiracy as well, so on and so on. I also mentioned the eye melanoma that I got when Russian doctors from elite hospital in Russia, Kaluga, injected something into my eye. So I will consider that as they basically tried to murder me, to kill me. And she causes additional stress to me, so I will sue her for that as well, and so on. And I mentioned that according to the law of state prosecution, she needs to pay all the damages if she did committed the crime intentionally. Then I sent this part is for her boss, and I asked him to act for her frauds. I also mentioned the Supreme Court, as I did before, and so on, that she needs to file crime report against her ex officio. And about that state deputy prosecutor who was in charge of my grandfather's monstrous murder, if he is aware of that. Actually he is, because that's his job. And this is for high instance prosecution of Belgrade, which forwarded that crime report. I asked them to forward it to me. Of course they didn't answer. I gave reasons why, and so on, and I asked everyone who received the email to confirm. Of course, as you can see, they haven't, although somebody can claim that I deleted it. I don't know why would I do that. So this is her decision. I just forwarded it to my brother, and that's it, because at the time I had some other things to do. So she said that everything is dismissed. She invoked that law I mentioned. She just described everything that I said, what she asked, and so on. She mentioned that I sent email, and that again, that was not easy for her to understand. It was not easy to understand for her. Didn't contain everything she has, and so on. And then she dismissed this whole thing. So this was on February 8th of February. So I just need now to show decision of state prosecutor, so her boss Lopušina, and I'm going to do this by searching for this, but I need to specify. So it was sent by Higher Instance Prosecution of Smederevo. This is their email to me. I don't need these words. So it was sent after 15th of February. So this is the one. It was sent on 5th of April. I don't know what's this. Yeah, this is also important. This is also very important. I need to create a separate video on this. But I will mention it here, of course. Okay, this is that other case with other deputy prosecutor. So this is the notification, as it says here, and official notes. Official notes. I just forwarded this to my brother because you will see why. So this was sent, this is a case number, and it was sent on 19th of 19th of March. Wow. Actually, it was written on 19th of March. I received it on 13th of March. And let's see the other one. Yeah, this is the same date. So 10 days. They needed 10 days to do this. Of course, he claimed there is nothing wrong with acting of state attorney, and his explanation is scandalous. This is something I've never seen. I mean, even in any movie. It sounds really impossible that somebody of that rank and of that importance. So this is again high instance prosecution, which is in charge of major crimes, right, like murders and stuff like that. And he's just ignoring the facts that doesn't suit him. So the same thing his worker did. His workers did, so two prosecutors did it, not just Vesna Mladenović, but also Saša Mrkić. I have another video on that, as I stated already. So the key point in his explanation, or so-called official notes, is explanation on my part where I asked for original document that Higher Instance Prosecution of Belgrade sent, because I need the original document in order to give additional pieces of information. Sorry. So it says here that actually State Prosecution of Appeals, so not Higher Instance Prosecution, sent on 15th March 2021 this decision of the deputy prosecutor, and ask him to act. So this is why he did it, because they asked him to do it. So this is the highest instance prosecution there is. It's in Belgrade. There is only one which is above them, but they basically just control other lower prosecution offices, and that is Republic Prosecution Office. So I don't know if this date is correct. It was 15th, I think. She then explained what happened, that Vesna Mladenović acted as was acting attorney, a deputy prosecutor, sorry. And that in the report of deputy prosecutor, she stated that I asked the prosecution office to send me, he said here, this is extremely important, I will add this to another video as a proof of ex officio acting of prosecutors. So he said here, report dash submission. So I asked for the report dash submission that was forwarded by Higher Instance Prosecution of Belgrade in order to give additional information. And that prosecution concluded that I haven't added additional information to so-called submission because I couldn't, as I didn't know the content of that so-called submission. So this is the most scandalous part, maybe in the whole case of monstrous murders of 3 members of my family. This thing here. So he states, so basically he admitted here that the submission, that the crime report, although he did everything to avoid adding here crime reports, he just said crime, he just wrote crime, and it has dash here, and it says the submission. So he admitted here that crime report is a special type of submission when you act ex officio. So, and this thing, this is again the most scandalous. So they said that in that case 705/20, they stated here I could not provide additional information because I didn't have they haven't sent me the original document, so-called submission, and I don't recall there is that part in that decision. I mean, I showed the decision. So and then he described what happened, what I wrote to deputy prosecutor. Basically describing what I wrote in that email. And it is the right date here. It's 12 now. It's not 13th, but 12th of October. This is also amazing. I haven't noticed that before. I just noticed it now. So that so-called submission that higher instance prosecution of Belgrade forwarded to higher instance prosecution of Smederevo was actually sent by email by me on 12th of October 2020, not on 13th of October as Mladenović claimed. So he admitted that she was wrong, but it didn't state here that she was wrong, and he had the obligation to both moral and legal to do this, so he is protecting her big time. So, and then this is also important part. So prosecutor asked high instance court of Smederevo, which also committed major crimes. So when I file a complaint on the judge's decision, because he in inheritance proceeding of my late father, because judge faked the final decision, so he removed the part from the notes, my part which I added, my complaint during the inheritance proceedings. And there is no written decision on that. He can do that, but there should be a written decision. So she had that, she saw that, but she pretends there is nothing wrong with it. And my complaint to higher instance court of Smederevo was actually the video and audio record of that monstrous murder of my family. She said that, confirmed that judge removed this from the final decision because the notes from the actual minutes from inheritance proceedings we received, so both my brother and my brother and that monstrous murderer didn't have signature and the seal, so I needed some other ways of confirming that he removed that. So when he received the decision, I asked her to see if my part from minutes of inheritance proceedings are there, and she confirmed there are no such thing, and this was the only thing that I sent as a complaint on judges acting. So she received, so she saw that. I don't know which case is this, but she needed, according to the law, she needed to ask for all the cases related to monstrous murder of my family and also inheritance proceedings. Then she asked, yeah, this is the case of inheritance proceedings. She asked that from elementary court when that proceedings was held. And after that, she asked me for additional information, although she had everything. So more than enough pieces of evidence to put that judge in jail, and also the judges, panel of judges of higher instance court in Smederevo, because they in their decision they dismissed my complaint on judges major frauds by stating that I complained. They haven't stated what I complained about, which is something that I never ever saw in anything related to this, anything similar in anything related to judiciary. But of course I will create another video on that. So the judge, I don't know what's the right word, but maybe president of that panel was Judge Zorica Popović of Higher Instance Prosecution, Higher Instance Court of Smederevo. So basically, he admitted that her colleague Mladenović had everything, but she pretended that she doesn't know how to use G drive, because that recording was on G drive, and then everything is described again about that request for additional information and so on and so on. And that they dismissed my so-called submission. Again, they described everything I asked for, in which I described in my in that email. So I'm not going. But they again had this date wrong. So it's not 13th, it's 12th of October, and so on and so on. So basically he's describing everything I wrote in those emails here. And some additional documents I sent, so on and so on. He describes what happened in the inheritance proceedings. So this is that scandalous decision of Higher Instance Court, where they stated I complained that they haven't stated on what was my complaint about. So he simply ignored that. and this is very important. I think that this was not mentioned at the beginning. That actually, it says here that actually state prosecution of appeals in Belgrade, based on the fact that my crime report suggests that Aleksandar Kuzmanović, investigating monstrous murder of my grandfather Vesna Mladenović, for this fraud regarding my so-called submission. So they, because that was a crime report against two deputy prosecutors from the same prosecution offices, so the prosecution office of appeals in Belgrade suggested, so it was the same crime as within the case of other case from the same prosecution office, but the other case was against President of Higher Instance Court of Smederevo. So that case that I mentioned, Sasha Mrkić was acting. So the same crime, which is described as breaking the law by judge, state attorney, and his deputy. This is Article 360, paragraph 1 of crime law of Serbia. So prosecution office of appeals they suggested to move the case to other prosecution office, which is in charge, but from the same area, or maybe not the same area. Maybe they thought it should be in Belgrade. I'm not sure about that, but they prosecution of appeals, which is above higher instance prosecutions, suggested, it says here, suggested, according to all the facts, to move the case to send the case to other prosecution office. They suggested that to state attorney Dragan Lopušina. So after he saw everything, and again he confirmed that Vesna Mladenović, deputy prosecutor, did nothing wrong. So he didn't explicitly state that he doesn't want to forward the case, to send the case to other prosecution office, which prosecution of appeals suggested, and he said there is nothing else to do regarding. No, he's saying this is complaint on Vesna Mladenovic's acting. So, and that she did everything according to the law. We will see about that, because the case is international. They will not get away with this. So basically, this is basically all the facts about this scandalous acting of multiple prosecution offices, prosecutor, and deputy prosecutors, and what is left, the only thing what's left is to confirm that they all have that email they mentioned. Okay, so I'm searching for email from me to well, something's wrong here. So I need to do everything from the start. For some reason I wasn't able to find this. Actually, Google wasn't able to find this. So I'm searching for emails as sent to Prosecution Office of Belgrade, Higher Instance Prosecution Office of Belgrade. So it's from me. What's this? Okay. So it's from me. There are no keywords. I don't need this. So obviously, sometimes this doesn't work. Okay, so I need to search everything before 12th of October 2020. This is when it's sent. So so there are not enough, there are not too many mails here. Well, actually there are. This is 21, so actually there are 2 emails, but this is a huge thread, but I need, of course, I need to search the whole thread. Okay, so this was sent on June, nothing, July, and I'm searching for October, so nothing here. The last one is October 15, and before that it's September, so nothing here to search for, to look for. So probably it's this one. So this should contain the email from. Actually, they are already expanded. There are 2 of them, but I need to double check everything for the sake of completeness. So September. This is not important, so I will close it. Or what's the right word? The opposite of expanding. October 8th. No, actually this is something they sent to me. So this must be, this is the only one, this must be the date. So let's see. Yeah, it's the 12th of October. And I haven't addressed here the Higher Instance Prosecution of Smederevo, of Belgrade. Prosecution for Organized Crime, Elementary Court, Elementary Prosecution Office of Smederevo, Intelligence Services, both military and state, Constitutional Court, so nothing related to higher instance prosecution of. Yeah, this is the answer from DA, President of Supreme Cassation Court. Something really disgraceful. So I haven't sent anything to that prosecution office of Belgrade, and I just need to check out if both higher instance prosecution of Belgrade and of Smederevo are addressed here. So the higher instance prosecution of Belgrade is addressed here, as can be seen, and I will show that this is their email because there is no name here as it is here. And I also need to check out if there is a if the higher instance prosecution of Smederevo is addressed here. It looks as if it's not addressed, so it's not addressed here. They were right. But I forwarded this to Prosecution of Appeals in Belgrade. So it was actually 12th, not 13th. I haven't deleted anything. And since this was about DEJAN ADAMOVIĆ, I can search for his name. I mean the submission, so-called submission, Higher Prosecution Office from Belgrade sent to their colleagues in Smederevo. Yes, I actually described here. This is for the director, that common monster of Geodetic Institute of Serbia, because they changed the ownership according to the faked decision of the judge. So I warned him here not to do this, but he did it. So I described in it as what happened, how all the counts, all the frauds of Judge DEJAN ADAMOVIĆ. So it's described here in detail, huge email, again ADAMOVIĆ, and so on and so on. I'm not going to details because I'm going to create a separate video on cadastre. So cadastre, state institution handling everything related to properties, is part of Geodetic Institute. So I again asked Judge ADAMOVIĆ and President of his court, Dragan Logan, and President of Higher Instance Court of Smederevo to answer my questions. This is the other part doesn't contain anything related to DEJAN ADAMOVIĆ. I explained what these other parts are about. So so this is that email which they considered a submission of its crime report. And what is also important here, the highest instance prosecution, Republic Prosecution Office, confirmed that they received it. So if they received it, probably all the other people received it, especially this guy, commie monster and piece of shit, director of Geodetic Institute. I explained in another video who he is. He's a die-hard commie. He's actually Montenegrin. He's not from Serbia. So and he started by being member of the political party of wife of Slobodan Milošević, who was also die-hard commie. So basically that's it. And again, as I said, this video, another video, which I'm going to add in the description. So the same thing happened, only the crime report was against the president of the court, and someone else, some other deputy acted. So these two videos are very important because they show how prosecutors are trying to avoid acting ex officio. So they are trying to in every possible way to present this. They're trying to. They're avoiding in every possible way qualifying my crime report as crime report, because that enables them not to act ex officio independently by the definition of their job. I will explain in another video why is this so important. So that would be all. So the only thing left is to switch this to confirm that this is actually email of higher instance prosecution of Belgrade. And the reason why I'm doing this is well, only 4 of them. So is this. I will show it right away. So that's them, and this is the contact. So what they did is something very, very unusual. They changed their email. I don't know, maybe they added their IT sector added they should do that, but I don't know if they did it. Maybe they added on their server to forward, to properly handle email if it is sent using the old address, to forward it to new address. This is something that's usually never done. You don't change this. I don't know why they did this. So because of that, I need to prove that this was their email, this one. So let's see here if yeah, here it is. This is it, and they say here higher instance prosecution of Belgrade. So it's their email. I think that should be all regarding this matter. And the only thing I almost forgot is to show another document sent by prosecutor, so not deputy prosecutor, but the prosecutor, so man in charge of prosecution office, so Dragan Lopušina. So another thing that he did, another crime report, he is now retired, another crime he committed, so he's now retired, but that doesn't change anything. So I now need to I now need to look for another never mind. For another email sent by Higher Instance Prosecution of Smederevo to me to show this. Maybe I can see it from here. Well, actually I can see it from, it's here. Okay, that's cool. So why is this so important? So this is something that's sent, although I haven't asked for it. So this is, it says here, acting on complaint. So they are either consider crime report either complaint or DA submission, but they try to avoid calling it crime report because they will need to act ex officio. Same goes for courts, because they will need to forward it to acting or prosecution in charge, prosecution office in charge. So this is something that's that is related to monstrous murder of my grandfather. So he was hit or pushed and left there to suffer for like 8 hours. The walls were painted with blood, as someone painted them with red color. He was old, of course, more than 80 years, really sick, had dementia, if I pronounced it properly. So he sent me here, so it says here, Dragan Lopušina, higher prosecutor. So this is his response, but he didn't send, so only one page, didn't send the details. So he said that he acted on, they never sent me this, although they claim they sent me. They don't have simply the proof that there should be my signature here, because this need to be handled personally. I personally need to sign. There is no my signature on receiving this document. I never received it. So they sent me on 3rd of July, which is very, very important date for the whole case of monstrous murders of my family. And they sent me this. They started sort of cooperating after I reported the Serbian, it's here, Serbian military for illegal arms trade to, it says here, U.S. Department of Justice, etc. So they started cooperating with me, meaning that they wanted to send me cases that I asked for. I have the right according to the law, so this freedom of information, everything that's related to me, they need to give me access to or to copy and to send me. So he said here, he acted on my complaint, so it was not complaint again, it was a crime report on Alexander Kuzmanović's acting. He was very controversial figure. So deputy prosecutor in charge of monstrous murder of my grandfather. And according to the I don't know how to translate this properly. Well, I no, it's not. According to order of state prosecution office, so the higher prosecution office in the state, because I reported this deputy prosecutor Guzmanovic to the highest instance prosecution, so I should have reported him to prosecution of appeals, but I just sent my crime report straight to the Republic Prosecution Office. And when he saw that, so this is the case of monstrous murder of my grandfather. It was in the end of 2015. So he said he didn't found anything, haven't found anything wrong in acting of this state deputy prosecutor, and that my complaint, again this is not a complaint, this is crime report, doesn't have any grounds, and he reported that to Republic Prosecution Office. They also, Republic Prosecution Office also didn't want to send me this this case, because they also have it under case number, under number 884/17, because I reported this in 2017, as can be seen here. And again, this type of document is sent to be received in person, so they don't have my signature there. They cannot prove I received it. So, and I'm now showing why is this important, this date. So again, I haven't asked for that explicitly. I asked within this conversation with the document office of it's this document office of that prosecution office, so higher instance prosecution of Smederevo, it says here. So the same date, and right after we had this conversation, they sent me the so 1244 I will check out what's the time. So, but I received it after this conversation. I clearly remember that. Otherwise, how would they send me? So, and of course, they say they will send the the case which was the answer to the request from Republic Prosecution Office, and that case is KTR 563/17, and you will see here. You will see why is this so important. So this is from document office of higher instance prosecution. The date is given here. Către P6 so they didn't want to send me the new case they created based on the order of Republic Prosecution Office. They said they will send it, but instead of that they just sent this case which served as a basis for my crime report, and which served as a basis for creating that new case. So 563, and let's see what happens. Molim? So what this lady said is that they sent me that case 563, although they haven't. Again, they don't have a proof. They don't have my signature because this should have been handled in person. And she gave me the most important, by mistake, the most important information that in the case of monstrous murders of my family. And this is the moment when she said Advocat Marko Petrović, which means lawyer or attorney Marko Petrović. Let's see how to properly. Should be a lawyer, okay. And how attorney is translated. The same thing, never mind. So she said that this crime report is sent to me. So again, they don't have any proof. They sent it to me. No, my signature. They simply cannot prove that. And they sent to state council whatever of prosecution, which is a state institution or state body creating the list of prosecutors or lawyers to be elected by the parliament, to be elected as state prosecutors or deputies or so on, so on, so on, councillors. So very important one. And the last one who received that crime report, that case. So case that higher instance prosecution of Smederevo created after Republic highest instance prosecution of the state Republic prosecution office ordered them to act on my crime report regarding my grandfather's monstrous murder. So and after she mentioned that the attorney was had the power of, just a second. Yeah, power of attorney. She had the power of attorney to act in the name of someone who is accused of committing the crimes, which is that monster who murdered 3 members of my family, also poisoned my brother's children to prevent them, to scare them not to visit my grandfather. They never stayed at my father's property, which is very, very strange. So she admitted that. Actually, from her answer why they never were visiting my father, I mean visiting by staying several days, it can be seen from her answer that she did it. She has multiple psych issues, real psycho. So after she gave this information to me, and this shows why they don't want to send me this case. So after she did that, then there was a moment of silence, and then she started when she mentioned that there was power of attorney. There was a moment of silence, and after that, as can be heard in the video, and after that she started talking something not really related, some nonsense, not really nonsense, but not related to her narrative, previous narrative. So what that means is that the attorney who was in charge, who had the power of attorney to defend that monstrous murder of my family, he returned the case because I never heard from him. He returned the case, and he admitted by doing that this monstrous murderer of my family did it. So this was in, as she said, in the middle of 2017, and now is 2023. Let's see the date. So all the prosecution offices and other courts and other institutions, of course police, that means that they are, by not acting, they are directly responsible for murder of my father, because he was alive at that time. So they will all go to jail. They cannot avoid it unless they murder me, because I received multiple threats, death threats. I have a video on that on my channel here, and I also received it through YouTube. YouTube, of course, is doing nothing about that. I reported, but they are doing nothing about that. Same goes for prosecution offices and so on and so on. And I also received death threats from the police officer on 29th of May last year. So I received that from the person who I'm paying as a taxpayer, which is impossible, but of course they cannot easily scare me. So this is the most important part, as I said, most important moment of my of the case, actually multiple cases that I'm working on. So one more time this happened several days after I reported the but I cannot find this somehow. Yeah. Well, they are banning me on my own channel. So this happened after short, like 2 weeks after I reported the Serbian army for illegal arms trade. So the date was 7th of July, symbolically, because at that date on 2020 was the date when people was protesting, rioting against lockdown. So I don't remember if I did it on purpose or not, but as you saw, after like 723, like 14 days, actually 16, is it right? Okay, let's say 2 weeks after I reported that, well, actually, was it that day? Let's see if this is the date. Okay, I will need to report an international against crime. I will need to search it here. Here it is. So yeah, it's the 7th of July. U.S. Department of Justice, So this is almost exactly 12 a.m. Maybe minutes till 12 symbolically again. Here's Putin for people who like him. I don't know what's that here. What it says here. Oh yeah, this is removed. This is the video they removed to FBI. So YouTube removed the video I sent to FBI. Sounds impossible, but it happened. Okay, so basically, and what is also important to note that when I forwarded this, so this is what happened. What I wanted to say is this is what happened when you involve international institutions. But of course, they didn't send me in the end that 563 case. But anyways, I had the data that I needed. That monstrous murderer was guilty even in 2017. So why I'm showing this is that this crime report was also sent to higher instance prosecution of Belgrade. They ignored that, and also the higher instance prosecution of Smederevo. They haven't mentioned that at all, but they received it definitely. And here are the people who haven't received it. Republic Prosecution Office haven't received it for some reason. State Prosecution, State Council of Prosecutors, Government, Serbian Government, I mean Government, Higher Instance, High Council of Judiciary also haven't received it, but all the other received it. So and of course, as can be seen here, I also sent other international crime reports, but again, so I sent this, actually this is another case, so I sent another crime report to all those prosecution offices, and what is the most important thing is that they all have my address on my YouTube channel. So according to the law, they should have subscribed to my channel and receive all those notifications on all those new videos. So it is impossible they didn't know about all those emails. So but of course they simply pretend they don't know how to use YouTube and how to handle properly data that are on G Drive or YouTube and so on and so on. And those data should be recorded when it's email on DVD, CD or Blu-ray and be physically part of the case. So I think that should be it, but from some parts of this video need to be done as separate videos. But for now I'm done with the video related to describing crimes committed by multiple prosecution offices of Serbia and courts and so on and so on. So for now that should be it.